Dark Crisis was released on December 1st, 2003. There are two noteworthy archetypes in this set. The first one is the Archfiend Monsters. They are a series of effect monsters that have conditional targeting negation, but they do require a life point payment during each player's turn, and it is not optional. But there are fantastic payoffs for them in the set, specifically the card Falling Down. The other archetype in the set are the Guardian Monsters. They are monsters that can only be summoned while you have a specific equipped spell card in play. So we'll go down the card by card for you to find some noteworthy cards. Gyakugire Panda is our first really strong common. It is an 800 3-star that gains 500 attack for each monster on your opponent's side of the field, and it has piercing. It can attack under Gravity Bind as well. So if we find ourselves up against more copies of Gravity Bind, that could be a great way to outboard defenses. None of the equipped spell cards in this set are particularly good. The most notable one is probably Twin Swords of Flashing Light, which decreases the equipped monster's attack by 500 points, but does allow it to attack twice. Final Attack Orders is in the set as well. This forces all monsters to attack position, and their battle positions cannot be changed. For some monsters, we do have Gaga Gigo in the set, which is a card I'm hoping to pick up 3 of. It is an 1850 vanilla 4-star that will go very nicely into the Legendary Ocean archetype. The Dark Scorpions are in this set as well, but none of them in this set are really worth talking about. Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu can search equip spells, so we could see board perhaps pivot to that because we know he has a United We Stand, and most of the Archfiends are pretty good. Shadow Knight Archfiend is fantastic, Deathsrook, and then Vilepon will mostly be played for the name. There are also some fairy support cards in this. Ishizu's fairy-type monsters from the Battle City archetype are in here, Keldo, Kelbeck, Zolga, and Ajido. Kelbeck is the one that will see the most play. It is Wall of Illusion with 1500 attack, but 50 less defense. Now there are also some rituals in this set, and the ritual monsters themselves are either at rare or super rare. Incandescent Ordeal will summon Legendary Flame Lord, which is very playable if we do have the ritual support, and we do have some of the ritual support as well. Cestus of Dagla is a fairy support card that may come up when we see Ancient Sanctuary. Final Countdown is in this set as well. This card is going to be limited much later on, but this is a card I'm very scared of for board because his deck is very good at stalling the game, and now he doesn't even have to run a win condition in his deck. He can just pay 2,000 life points for Final Countdown, and all he has to do is survive 10 turn cycles. It does say 20 turns on the card, but that counts both players' turns. So all he has to do is activate that, survive 10 turn cycles, and he will win the duel. Now, the most noteworthy common card is Sakuratsu Armor, and this card will be format defining. This is the first really powerful common battle trap that we have. It's 1-for-1 removal. Getting to play around this is going to be quite scary. So we might see the My Body as a Shield come out in even more copies than it was before. With Sakuratsu Armor in the format, My Body as a Shield is main deckable. We do also have a few additional cards in the set. Despair from the Dark is the Call of the Mummy payoff from Pharaonic Guardian. It's an 8-star, 2800 attack, 3000 defense zombie with mostly trinket text, but it can come up. If your opponent discards it out of your hand, you get to special summon it for free. But mostly what this will be used for is a call from the Call of the Mummy target. Maju Garzette and Great Maju Garzette are in this set as well. Maju Garzette is not terribly noteworthy, but we'll talk about Great Maju Garzette up in the rare spot. Ojama Trio is in this set as well. This will see play in the stall-type decks, just to be able to flood your opponent's monster zones and make them unusable effectively. And the other two cards that are noteworthy in this set are Pandemonium, which is the Archfiend, a specific field spell. which turns off life point payments for those monsters, and then falling down is the payoff for playing Archfiends. If you have an Archfiend on the table, this is Snatch Steal with an 800 life point maintenance cost, and it is fantastic if you can get enough of the archetype, especially Terror King Archfiend. Moving on to the rares, there aren't a ton of amazing rares in this set, but they are out there. The first noteworthy one is Skill Drain. A Skill Drain is a card that is, just for whatever reason, $10 and could use another reprint because it has not had one in a long time. It is a continuous trap that you can pay 1,000 life points to negate all effect monsters' effects. I'm going to be looking for this for my deck specifically, because a lot of my pumping relies on spell cards and not monster effects, so this could be another way for me to not have to deal with flip effect monsters. I get the feeling the remove traps and the other spell and trap removal might actually come into the main deck if he sees this card. Archfiend Soldier is a 1900-1500 4-star, our first 1900 beater at an accessible rarity. A Great Maju Garzette could very well see play in our format. It is a 1 tribute monster that has an attack value equal to double the attack value of the tributed monster. Notice this is not original attack, so if you summon a monster that is pumped, the pumping effect will apply to this as well. Mephisto the Infernal General is an Air Knight Parshath that makes your opponent discard instead of you drawing a card. So board might play this, I doubt it, just because of the 1900 beaters in the format, but it is definitely a possibility for him. Dark Bishop and Infernal Queen are more Archfiend support. Asuki Yomi is a pretty powerful card that will be limited for most of the time that it is useful. This is a format-defining card, especially in some popular retro formats such as GOAT. So what Tsukiyomi does is it's a spirit monster that lets you flip one monster into face-down defense position when it is normal summoned or flipped face-up, and it returns to your hand like any other spirit monster does. This is incredibly potent for reusing flip effects, especially alongside attack floodgates, such as Vengeful Bog Spirit. This with Magician of Faith is incredibly powerful when you recur almost any spell card that is worth playing. The other noteworthy rare in the set is Contract with the Abyss. This is our first generic ritual card. This can be used to ritual summon any dark ritual monster, but instead of being able to go over on the ritual stars if necessary, the levels of the ritual monsters that you tribute need to match the ritual monster you're trying to summon exactly. Moving on to the super rares, most of the super rares are not very good. A lot of them are build around and we won't want to see them. A Different Dimension Dragon is pretty interesting in that it has destruction protection. It can't be destroyed by any effect unless that effect targets, and it also cannot be destroyed in battle by monsters with 1900 attack or more. Dark Flare Knight and Mirage Knight are build-arounds. Berserk Dragon is build-around as well. The best generic super rare in the set by far is DD Warrior Lady. If I can pick one of these up, I will be very happy to play this pretty much until the end of the series. Having access to this with Reinforcement of the Army as well as Sangan is very powerful, and this can banish any monster that becomes a problem. Butterfly Dagger Elma is a combo card. Will not see play unless we have something to abuse it, such as Gearfried the Iron Knight. Terror King Archfiend is a 2k beater that has a 50% protection rate against targeting effects, and it is the boss monster for the Archfiends. It is very powerful, and if you do pull this, and a couple of copies of Falling Down, you will be very inclined to play Archfiends. Mudora is fairy support. We probably won't play it, but if we do get one or more copies, it is something that we could consider. Dark Master Zork is a solid ritual monster if you get it, and Spell Vanishing is mostly unplayable because it is a 3/4/1. At the ultra rare slot, we do have some pretty powerful cards as well, but most of them are duds. Guardian Seal and Guardian Grarl are not worth talking about. A Reflect Bounder, though, is probably the most powerful ultra rare in the set, and this does get limited for quite some time. So Reflect Bounder is a 1700 normal summon that is Magic Cylinder on legs. It is very powerful and will see play if we get it. A Shinado King of a Higher Plane is the largest ritual monster that we have to date at 3300 attack. If we do get this card and a couple of copies of Shinado's Arc, we may consider it for a ritual archetype. Exodia Necros is complete garbage. You're unable to play this card unless you have all 5 pieces of Exodia in your graveyard. Kaiser Glider is playable, though. It's a big body, and it has good attribute and good typing. Interdimensional Matter Transporter is worth talking about as well. This banishes a monster temporarily and can be used to foil removal or foil attacks. Cost down allows you to discard a card instead of tributing one monster effectively, so you can use it to discard a card and normal summon a 6-star monster without a tribute. A Skull Archfiend of Lightning is the largest Archfiend monster that there is, and Blast Held by a Tribute could be a sideboard card later once we get to Monarchs. Yes, Mobius does out this, but for any of the other Monarchs, a Blast Held by a Tribute can be devastating. It is a Mirror Force that requires your opponent to attack with a Tribute summoned monster. It will destroy all of their attack position monsters and do 1000 damage. The only other 2 cards in the set that we have left to talk about are the Secret Rares, and they're both very playable. Vampire Lord is a menace. It's a 1 tribute, 2000 attack zombie-type monster that when it deals battle damage, your opponent has to send 1 card of a type of your choosing from the deck to the graveyard. So you can use this to get rid of trap cards and spell cards or monster cards of your opponent's choosing from their deck. The big reason why this will see play if we get it is because if it is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you get to special summon it from your graveyard during your next standby phase. So the only way to truly get rid of Vampire Lord is to either beat over it or banish it, and we do not have a lot of removal that banishes right now. Judgment of Anubis is going to be played in Board's deck if he sees it. It is a 1-sided Ring of Destruction and a negate for spell cards. So specifically what it does is you can discard a card to negate the activation and effect of a spell card controlled by your opponent that destroys 1 or more spell or trap cards on your side of the field and destroy it. Then you get to destroy one of your opponent's monsters and inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. So this is a bit of a lower power set compared to some of the sets that we have open, but I am still excited to open it, and this is just a prelude for the next set, which we'll talk about towards the end of the episode. And with the release of the new set, we do also have a small update to the Forbidden and Limited list, only 2 changes this time, and these will most likely not affect us for the Progression series. It is Breaker the Magical Warrior to 1 and Tribe Infecting Virus to 1. Both of these cards are high rarity, so it is extremely unlikely that we will have multiples, but in the event that Board did pull multiples of these cards, he will need to remove all but 1 copy from his deck. Alright, so 24 packs of Dark Crisis. This is a little bit of a lower powered set compared to some of the sets we've opened recently, such as Pharaonic Guardian, but it does still have some important cards that I want to pick up, most notably that playset of Sakuratsu Armor, and some copies of Skill Drain. If I can get those, I will be very happy. There are some nice pickups at high rarity that would be just bonuses at this point. So let's go ahead and crack our first pack. And we got a super rare, but it is Mirage Knight, which is complete trash. We will not be playing that card. And nothing else really noteworthy in this pack either. And those are pretty good. We got not only a Skill Drain, but we got a copy of Terror King Archfiend. So now we're going to be looking out for those Archfiend cards, as well as Pandemonium. If we can get a playset of Pandemonium, some more Archfiend cards, and a playset of Falling Down, we may actually be able to play the Archfiend archetype. And there's our first copy of Gyakugire Panda. That is another card that I would not mind having a playset of, especially going forward. In a few sets, we will get some Beast support as well, so this can come up. And there is an ultra rare. Unfortunately, it is Guardian Seal, which we will not play, even if we get enough copies of the Shooting Star Bow to turn it online. We did get our copy of Final Countdown in this pack, though. And we did get a copy of Great Maju Garzette here. Now, that could potentially be used if we have a large monster that could be destroyed during the end phase. This also can potentially be used if we're able to protect Scientists for a turn, but that seems very unlikely. And there's our first copy of Gaga Gigo as well. We do have a good Legendary Ocean Core. We just need to pick up some of the beaters in the next couple sets that make this deck work. So this is another common that I'm going to be looking to pick up a playset of. And there's our first copy of Sakuratsu Armor. Very, very important that we pick up 3 of these. That is also our first copy of Cestus as well. And Pandemonium Watchbearer could wind up being playable in the Archfiend archetype, specifically because it's a monster that protects Pandemonium from being destroyed. And there's our first copy of Despair from the Dark as well. If we get a playset of this, then that could make for a zombie deck down the line. But the support for it outside of this card really just doesn't exist yet. We are looking to pick up a playset of this card, though, if possible. It really wants me to play Archfiends, because that's our copy of Archfiend Soldier, as well as an ultra-rare Skull Archfiend of Lightning. If we get more of these Archfiend cards, we very well could be pulled into that archetype, but we have still seen 0 falling down, and we really want to have 3 of those, because that's the huge payoff for playing Archfiends. We did also get our second copy of Despair from the Dark, and our second copy of Gaga Gigo in this pack. And there's our playset of Despair from the Dark, and we did also get a Shadow Knight Archfiend for the Archfiend deck. Nothing else super notable in this pack. So at the halfway point in the box, we did pick up an Ojama Trio, which is our first one, and we did also get Kelbeck, which is playable. Only one Sakuratsu Armor, though, is making me quite nervous. Really, really want to pick up a playset of those. That card is super important, all the way through GX and even into 5Ds. And there's a super rare. It is a copy of Mudora. Another build around. It is fairy support, so it could come up a little bit later. It being an Earth attribute monster isn't the greatest, but we do have potential for that to be played, especially if we pick up another one. We've been getting a lot of hollows, but we've been getting mostly the wrong ones. And there's a good pack. We got our first copy of Pandemonium for the Archfiend deck. That's very important, and many other noteworthy commons in this set. That is also, I believe, no, that is our second copy of Final Attack Orders. But we did get another Gyakugire Panda. We got a Sakuratsu Armor, that makes our second one. And we also got a copy of Skill Drain. That is our second one of those as well. So our common and rare playsets are starting to come together. I would really like to see one more Sakuratsu Armor before we wrap for this set. And there it is! And another copy of Mudora! Are we going to be able to make this fairy strategy work? With double Mudora? That's certainly a possibility once we get some more fairy support, such as in Ancient Sanctuary. But I am super happy to see a Sakuratsu Armor, and a second Dark Bishop Archfiend is worth considering as well. Oh, we got Vampire Lord! We got Vampire Lord! We got Vampire Lord! That is a very welcome pickup. This Call of the Mummy zombie shell could well come together once we get more support, but we will play that card no matter what. That card is going to be a huge mess for board to deal with. We got another great Maju Garzette as well. Super, super happy with this pack. That Sakuratsu Armor is our fourth, so it's not going to help us, but we got Vampire Lord. That's a really strong pickup. And we got another Archfiend Soldier and a second Skull Archfiend of Lightning. We might have to try playing this. The only thing that I am worried about right now is we have 0 copies of Falling Down. But that is our second Archfiend Soldier. Super happy to see that. This could well be the start of some sort of skill drain deck as well. Only 1 copy of Pandemonium, but we do have Terraforming to search that out. But wow, double Skull Archfiend of Lightning. I would really love to pick up at least 1 copy of Falling Down, because just wow. I have no words. And we did get super rare Dark Master Zork, so we have pulled a very large number of holos. I think Dark Master Zork is a playable ritual for now. Starting to get worried about some of the cards, but we did also get our first copy of Falling Down. If we can get one more of these, I think this Archfiend deck is really, really playable. And we did fill out our playset of Gaga Gigo as well. This opening is really, really starting to turn around. And a second Terror King Archfiend! I think I have to play this now. This is way too good not to play. I guess this is what the fates have to say, that we are indeed playing Archfiends in this match. As much as I like this warrior deck, I think we have to go for it now. This is too much. And a second Mirage Knight, not going to help us. We did get Legendary Flame Lord though, which we did not have, so that is another potential ritual monster that we can play, and that is only our second Vile Pawn as well, which we are looking for more for the names than anything. We have pulled an incredible number of holos. I think that's our 10th holo in this opening. A lot of Archfiend stuff, but none of the power holos in this set, other than Vampire Lord. But we are going to play Vampire Lord almost no matter what. So just a couple packs left. I do want to see one more copy of Falling Down. And we got there. We got our second copy of Falling Down. That's good enough to make this Archfiend deck work. We are going to be playing this deck. And then see if we can get anything out of our last pack. Third copy of Falling Down. We did get another copy of Final Attack Orders. Only 2 copies of Falling Down, but we got most of the Archfiend stuff. Take a look at this. Terror King Archfiend. Skull Archfiend of Lightning. Just all this crazy stuff. Only 1 copy of Pandemonium, but we should have some copies of Terraforming. I can go take a look to see how many copies of Terraforming we have real quick. We should have enough to make it playable. We got 2, so that will be enough, I feel. With 2 copies of Terraforming and 1 copy of Pandemonium, that should actually be enough to make this playable. And even if we don't wind up winning with it, I think this is too sexy not to try. So we are actually going to take this into Dueling Book now and see what kind of Archfiend list I can come up with. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chess Club. This is Archfiends, the deck that we will be taking to today's duel. So we got a ton of Chess Fiends in our opening of Dark Crisis. So I have a lot to go over today. I'll be going over the card by card. 1 copy of Dark Necrofear that we opened from Labyrinth of Nightmare as an ultra rare. This is a Fiend payoff, and because all of the Archfiends are, well, Fiend-type monsters, summoning this shouldn't be too difficult. It's a big body, and when it gets destroyed, it turns into a Snatch Steel. 2 copies of Dark Bishop Archfiend, which is mostly being played for the name. 2 copies of Desrook Archfiend, which allows you to special summon a Terror King Archfiend that gets destroyed, and it has a good size butt, 1800. 1 copy of Magical Scientist. This is the only non-Archfiend life point payment card that we have in this deck, because the gimmick of the Archfiends is that there is a mandatory life point cost to be able to keep them on the table. So if we're going to pay any life point payment cards in our deck, they have to be extremely powerful. And one of them that is good enough is Magical Scientist, because it gives us access to more effect negation and can really make a lethal push. 1 copy of Magician of Faith. We did comb this down to 1 because this deck is fairly aggressive, but it is important to play at least 1 to be able to get access to our field spell in the event that is destroyed. 1 copy of Sangan, 2 copies of Shadow Knight Archfiend, which is a 2k beater. The only issue is that the battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is halved, but it is good for getting over almost any defensive threat that board might play. 2 copies of Skull Archfiend of Lightning. This is a summoned skull, 50% chance to negate card effects that target it. So this is fantastic for dealing with Sakuratsu Armors and other things. All of the Archfiend cards do have this benefit, but this one has the widest range of die rolls that will negate. 2 copies of of Terror King Archfiend, which is the payoff card for Archfiends. Well, one of the two. It's a 2k beater that has a lot of positive effects associated with it, but it does have that 800 life point payment, and we do need to watch our life points very carefully since most of the damage we will be doing is to ourselves. One copy of Vampire Lord, just a fantastic threat that is a huge pain in the butt to deal with, especially if we know that our opponent is on a limited number of a specific type of card. We can start making it less likely that our opponent will draw the type of card that is giving us trouble. 2 copies of Vilepon Archfiend, which protects our other Archfiends, 1 copy of Witch of the Black Forest, 2 copies of Archfiend Soldier, which is a 1900 beater that gives us that name to be able to turn on our payoffs, and that will round out the monster cards. For the spells, we have 1 Change of Heart, 2 Dark Hull, 2 Falling Down, which is the payoff for Archfiends. This is a Snatch Steal that costs us 800 life points a turn, but it's Snatch Steal. It is a banned card, and we get to play 2 of them. With all the control changing effects, it's very easy for us to make a lethal push. 1 copy of Fissure for spot removal, 1 Giant Trunade, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Pandemonium. This is a common, and we only opened 1 of it. I'm a little bit disappointed, but this is another payoff for Archfiends. This shuts off all life point payments for Archfiend cards, and then every time a monster that is an Archfiend is destroyed, we get to get 1 with a lower level from our deck. 1 Pot of Greed, 1 Raigeki, 2 Terraforming to tutor up Pandemonium, 1 Battle Scarred. So Battle Scarred is a continuous trap card that shares the damage that you take from an Archfiend card with your opponent. It does make your Archfiend vulnerable to spell and trap removal, but this is a great way to push for extra damage. 1 Call of the Haunted, 1 Dust Tornado, 1 Mirror Force, double Sakuratsu Armor, and 1 Bottomless Trap Hole to round out the main deck. For the side deck, we have 1 copy of Jinzo. This will come in the main if we see a lot of trap cards, but this just does not mesh well with the rest of the deck, considering that we have 3 other tribute monsters. Confiscation was moved to the side deck for the reasons of we do pay a lot of life points in this deck, so I wanted to keep the life point payment cards to a minimum in this deck, which I feel is important because otherwise, with the payments not being optional, you can just die if your life total is at the wrong amount. 1 copy of Fissure, 2 copies of My Body as a Shield in the side deck for the same reason. If we see a very large number of destruction effects, we may bring this in, but 1500 life points is a lot to throw away. 1 Prohibition, 2 Remove Trap, 1 Barrel Behind the Door, and then the other 2 Bottomless Trap Hole and the 3rd copy of Sakuratsu Armor. These will come in and out for one another depending on what we see from board. 2 copies of Trap Dust Shoot and 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, which is just too dangerous to play in the main deck because you can't just go throwing away 4,000 life points when you have monsters that drain your life points every turn, and then the extra deck has not changed. I'm pretty excited to checkmate board with this deck, and I did consider playing Checkmate, but it is just too situational. I am excited to see how board will react to this. It is time to duel. So board, I think Dark Crisis lived up to its name. With the way these pulls were, it might create a mid-tournament crisis for both of us. So we will have to see going forward. I have nerves as well because of reasons. Well, that's not a good start. You win the die roll. So I guess I will be on the draw. Good luck, duelist. I fully knew you would be on Final Countdown. Alright, all you gotta do is survive 10 turn cycles, and you win the game. Seems okay. Draw for turn, stand by main. I will set a monster, set to back row, and end my turn. That's 1 turn cycle. Morphing Jar! Well then, you're gonna see what's up. I am going to discard Witch of the Black Forest and Sangan, and Terror King Archfiend. So I guess now you know what's up. Alright. Draw for turn. Stand by main. Gonna MST the swords here. I will also greed here. I probably should have greeted beforehand. Frozen Soul. So I skip my next battle phase, huh? Okay. May I draw two? Okay, so I guess I draw 2 cards then, since that resolves. I will set another monster, set a back row, and I will end my turn. 2 turns on final, or two turn cycles on final countdown. Draw for turn, stand by main. I am going to flip summon Shadow Knight Archfiend. Does this resolve? I'm going to flip summon Deathstroke Archfiend. I will proceed to the battle phase. Deathstroke Archfiend will attack into your Morphing Jar. Shadow Knight Archfiend will attack into your most recent set. Okay, that's a Newdoria. What are you targeting? Shadow Knight. Okay. Roll for Shadow Knight. Darn. To the grave he goes. After combat, I will set another card, and I will end my turn. That's 3 turn cycles. You have a Vengeful Bog Spirit. At the end phase, I will activate Call of the Haunted, targeting Terror King Archfiend. So I will special summon Terror King Archfiend. I will proceed to the draw phase, draw a card. During draw phase, I will activate Battle Scarred, targeting Terror King Archfiend. So during my standby phase, I will lose 1,300 life points. You will lose 800 life points. I will go to the main phase. I will proceed to the battle phase. I will Terror King Archfiend into your recent set. It is a Yomi ship. Its effect is negated. Deathstroke into your set. Oh, 2,100 Defender. I'll take 1,000. So after combat, what do I do about Battle Footballer? That's really annoying. I will set another monster, and I will pass the turn. 4 turn cycles. That is a giant orc. Draw for turn. Standby, you will take 8, I will take 13. Think I know how I'm going to do this. I am going to activate Giant Trunade here. Going to book the... What are you booking? You're going to book the Terror King? Interesting. Alright, so Terror King gets set, which means that it doesn't get destroyed, I don't believe. Oh wait, no, this still gets destroyed, I believe, because it's still linked. Because it's not an equip. Let me actually look this up real quick, because I want to make sure we get this right. The monster will not die, but Giant Trunade will resolve. Oh, you're right! Yeah, hang on. Hang on, let me roll it. Oh, okay, so the book gets negated. The book gets negated, so the Terror King will actually end up dying, because book gets negated. So now we can resolve Giant Trunade. Good save. But the funny thing is, I actually wanted Terror King Archfiend in my graveyard, because you're going to get to see something else new. I am going to banish Sangen, Shadow Knight Archfiend, and Terror King Archfiend for Dark Necrofear. I will flip summon Terror King Archfiend. Now I have to do math. So this would put you at 1,000 life points, I believe. I will proceed to the battle phase. I also need to look at card errata as well. Okay, I just needed to make sure that this didn't receive errata either. Can I actually get over this Battle Footballer? I don't have anything big enough to get over the Battle Footballer, which is kind of annoying. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to crash with Giant Orc with Dark Necrofear. Then during main phase 2, this Giant Trunade should be in my graveyard. I'm going to set 1, 2, 3 cards. I will end my turn, Dark Necrofear will come back as an equipped spell, and I will gain control of your Battle Footballer. I will end my turn. This is the 5th turn cycle. You're halfway there. Dark Hole me, huh? Sure. End phase Call of the Haunted, targeting... Terror King Archfiend. Draw phase, I will activate Battle Scarred. So, during standby, we will both lose 800 life points. Main phase. I will proceed to battle phase. I will attack your set with Terror King Archfiend. Is it another battle footballer? Magic Cylinder, that sucks. Main phase 2. Set a monster. I will end my turn. 6 cycles on final countdown. Oh, right. Magic Cylinder resolves. Still getting used to playing the deck. Alright, draw for turn. Standby, we both take 800. Main phase 1. Does this get me there is the question. Thinking. This might take a while. I think I have to dig here. I'm going to flip summon Magician of Faith. I'm going to get Pot of Greed. I'm going to activate Pot of Greed. Thank you. That's exactly what I needed. I will activate Pandemonium. I will tribute Magician of Faith for Skull Archfiend of Lightning, which cannot attack this turn because of Vengeful Bog Spirit, unfortunately. I will proceed to the battle phase. I will Terror King Archfiend into your most recent set. Fiber Jar gets negated. I will end my turn. Draw for turn. Standby main. I will activate Monster Reborn, targeting Dark Necrofear. I will proceed to the battle phase. I will attack into your most recent set with Terror King. Get out of here. Skull Archfiend will attack into your set. Are you kidding me? Did I just get a Shizu'd? I think I just got a yeah, I just got a Shizu'd. Okay, I have a lot of side decking to do. Alright, hopefully this game goes a little bit better than last time. And yes, we both took a long time sideboarding. I will be on the play. Draw for turn. Standby main. I will fire Pot of Greed. I will set a monster. I will set 2 back row. I will end my turn. A breaker? You got a breaker? Well then. 1900 into my set, huh? You get Dark Bishop Archfiend. Of course. That's a good one. Alright, draw for turn. Standby main. I am going to... Boy, if I just get blown out by this again, that's going to be so bad. I'm going to activate Monster Reborn, targeting Dark Bishop Archfiend. I will normal summon Terror King Archfiend. I will proceed to the battle phase. I will attack over your breaker for 400. Sack him! Alright, 2 or a 5, please. That is a 5! Sack gets negated. I will end my turn. Got the Geki? No Geki, huh? Okay, draw for turn. Standby, I lose 1,300 life points. Main. I will activate Terraforming. I will search for Pandemonium. I will activate Pandemonium. I will normal summon Terror King Archfiend. Yes, I have 2. Battle phase. 2k into your set. That's irritating. Wow, that sucks. Pass! I'm gonna lose. But he doesn't even have to do anything. I'm just sitting here doing all this damage to myself, but these guys are just good cards. Alright, draw for turn. Standby. I take 2,100. Main. Geki. Battle phase. Oh, oh, yeah, you're right. I do not take 2100. Thanks. Thanks, Demon. But yeah, battle phase, 2000. Alright, because I have Dark Bishop and Terror King, you have to survive 2 rolls. This one, the first one is for a 2 or a 5, and then the second one is for a 1, 3, or 6. You survive that one. You survive that one. Terror King dies. 2k. Also, I have to trigger Pandemonium, so I get one of a lower level, huh? I'll go ahead and pick up a pawn. I will end my turn. Kelbeck, I figured you would be on this. Killing Dark Bishop? Sure. Draw for turn. Stand by main. Man, that's irritating. Go to battle phase. I will attack with Terror King into Kelbeck, and Kelbeck will be negated. Blast with Chain! So that means they trade. Pandemonium trigger. I'll pick up a rook. Oh, you're right, yeah. That's battle. That's right. It's except by battle. Hang on. Reading cards is hard. Main phase 2, I'll set one. It's except by battle. Draw for turn. Stand by main. I'll flip summon Magician of Faith. I will target Monster Reborn. I will fire Monster Reborn, targeting Terror King Archfiend. I will tribute Magician of Faith for Jinzo. Battle phase. Terror King Archfiend into your set. Jinzo for 2400. I will end my turn. Oh, do you have the double snare? Oh, you have the Dark Hole. That will get rid of them. Hey, you killed the Jinzo, finally! Oh, do you have the Heavy Storm, too? Oh, yeah, Pandemonium does trigger. I will add I'll add a Rook to my hand. Draw for turn. Stand by main. You have 1 card in hand. I think I'm going to just fire this Dark Hole. Get the Murder Boat. What do I want to throw on the table? I'll throw a pawn out there. Battle phase, 12. I'll end my turn. Draw for turn. Stand by main. Stand by Thunder of Ruler, sure. No battle phase. I will summon Shadow Knight Archfiend. Since I have no battle phase, I will end my turn. Draw for turn. Stand by. Anything? Main. I will Heavy Storm. Alright, game number 3. Alright, game 3. Yet another game. I think this is our 4th or 5th game 3 in a row. Good luck, buddy. You have a Giant Orc. Draw for turn, stand by main. I'm going to set a monster and pass. You have a Breaker. You get my Rook. Alright, 22 in. Draw for turn, stand by main. Is this worth life points is the question. I'm going to terraforming here. I will search for Pandemonium. Think this is worth life points. I'm going to Heavy Storm. Oh, those are pretty good ones to get rid of. I'm going to normal summon Vilepon Archfiend here. I'm going to activate Pandemonium. I will beat over the Giant Orc. Main phase 2, I will set a card. I will end my turn. Breaking the set, sure. It's Battle Scarred. Another Giant Orc, that's really annoying. So I take 400 and also 22? Yep. You have a Vengeful Log Spirit. Draw for turn, stand by main. 1 card in hand, huh? I am going to Monster Reborn here, targeting Deathstroke Archfiend, which I'm going to immediately tribute for Skull Archfiend of Lightning. Unfortunately, it can't attack this turn, so I'm going to pass. Swords of Revealing Light, you got it. Alright, draw for turn, stand by main. I'll set a card on my turn. Draw for turn, stand by main. I will pass the turn. Draw for turn, stand by main. Riveting gameplay! Set a monster. I will end my turn. Your Swords of Revealing Light have expired. Heavy Storm, huh? You get my Fisher and Pandemonium. Pot of Greed resolves. Not in good shape here. You get my Witch of the Black Forest. Now I have to be careful. Witch of the Black Forest is going to get Archfiend Soldier. Draw for turn. Standby. I take 500 points of damage. Main. I will normal summon Archfiend Soldier. I will proceed to the battle phase. Archfiend Soldier into your breaker for 300. Well, Skull Archfiend of Lightning into your Giant Orc for 300. Wow! I just lose here. Good set. So, the reason why I played this, I got 2 of them. I like this deck, I just don't think it has a good matchup against you. So one of the reasons why I decided to play this deck is because of the double Terror King Archfiend as well. I had a lot of, between that, I have a lot of effect negation. But I tell you what though, the decks that we're going to be playing in the next set are probably going to change completely. Because the next set is the set that changed Yu-Gi-Oh! Are you ready for Invasion of Chaos? Invasion of Chaos is going to be pretty crazy. Oh, interesting because Skill Drain I was thinking about playing like just a general Skill Drain deck also, because Skill Drain kind of just hoses your previous decks. But if you're on the Giant Orcs now, that changes things a lot. Like, Giant Orc with Skill Drain is insane. But in any case, yeah, Invasion of Chaos is going to warp our meta completely. There are a ton of insane cards in that set, everywhere from common to secret rare. So, board, here's the thing. If you skill drain me, I actually still have to pay the life points for Skull Archfiend, and just in general. But yeah, that skill drain would have hosed me. Yeah, that's actually the reason why, is because the cost of paying life points during your standby phase, yeah, that's a maintenance cost to keep the Archfiend around. And costs can't be negated. So, like, for instance, if you have Io and then I play Jinzo, even though Io is negated, you still have to pay 700 for it if you want to keep it around. Usually if there's a negated Io, people just let it go. But yeah, Invasion of Chaos next time. Alright, so unfortunately the Archfiends didn't work out because of just all the burn effects that were in Board's deck, and just Giant Orc can beat over everything in that deck except Skull Archfiend, and I really didn't have a good way to out it between main and side. But we'll see what we get for our consolation prize for Dark Crisis. And we get a super rare wild card. I think there's one correct pick for this. So this is the last reliable opportunity that I'm going to have to pick up this card. So I am taking what is possibly the most broken spell card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Painful Choice. And with that, that will be a wrap for today's episode. Hope you're looking forward to the next one, because there are going to be some fireworks in that episode. Invasion of Chaos has incredible cards at all rarities. Until then, see you around.